Hello and welcome back to another certified OGJ video. I'm currently 28 years old and I've owned around 50 cars in my lifetime so far, including supercars like my Speciale or the GT3 RS, but also sports cars like my many different BMW M models. All I can say to you after spending so much time with cars is, however, that nothing ever comes close to one specific car, my EVO V RS. I've owned this car over 5 years now. I truly have to say that this car is probably my favorite car I've ever owned. And in today's video I'm going to show to you exactly why this is the case. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Yeah, look who's back. My EVO V RS. Just in time for winter because now we also have snow here in the city. And that means it's finally time again for my EVO to come out. Initially I didn't really want to drive the car in the snow because I did all the underside and everything. But I have to redo it again in the spring anyway because the current underside, or like the current undercoat of the car is not really the best one. So we have to basically do everything that we did this year again. So might as well just drive it in the winter time. But before we do that, there's a few things. Oh yeah, by the way, the car is wrapped again. Should have probably told you, but I think it actually looks absolutely amazing. This is probably the best look the EVO ever had. We took the rally lights off to get it wrapped. Obviously, shout out to Fullenberg 31 once again for doing all the wrapping stuff. I think it looks like a proper rally car right now. And I really want to drive it properly. There's a few things I want to do to the car over the time, which is I want to give it a proper rally suspension and everything, but that will be in the far future. Right now, the first thing that we have to do to the car is to drive the car in the snow is we have to make the car run because right now it's currently not really running. That will be a lovely job for Gabriel. We have to do the turbocharger because it's leaking oil, so we need a new EVO 9 turbocharger. We need a new head gasket because this one is leaking, and a new software, and a new battery because this one is kind of dead. And then also we need to put different wheels on the car, obviously back to rally or like spike tires for the winter time, and then the car should be drivable. So before we go drive the car in the snow, let's do all of that really quickly and then we'll see how it goes. Let's go. So with this, it was time to make the EVO drivable again. First of all, Gabriel cleaned the engine bay very thoroughly. After that, he took away the valve cover and the top to make sure if there is any damage underneath. Unfortunately, after looking at the EVO engine very close, he realized that he had to lift the engine from the chassis so that he can open the engine mounts in order to get rid of the timing belt, which we need to replace later on. And of course, when replacing the timing belt, you need to make sure to mark the OT on the crankshaft and on the camshaft to make the assembly easier afterwards. Next step was to remove the turbo manifold and the intake manifolds so that the cylinder head can be easier to remove. Also, the engine block needed to be cleaned by hand, which Gabriel is doing here right now. After that, it was time to clean all the turbo hoses and then put them onto the new turbocharger. And by the way, we went for a standard EVO 9 turbocharger, since these are the most reliable for any Mitsubishi EVO. The old cylinder head was unfortunately pretty bent, so we had to refurbish it. In these clips you can see Gabriel cleaning the water pump gasket and all the other engine gaskets so that they can be put together with the freshly refurbished cylinder head. At this stage, Gabriel luckily had some help from Kevin, who is an EVO specialist. He helped Gabriel put back together the engine how it's supposed to be. And in this stage we also went with stronger ARP head bolts, since the engine can handle way more boost with this setup now. Last but not least, Gabriel installed the timing belt and the belt for the balance shaft, changed the oil and all the filters, and also lifted the car by 40mm to make it easier to clear the snow. And with that, the car should now be ready for some action. So let's see how successful the first drive is gonna be. Yeah, welcome back. The EVO is finished, as you can see. They finished it yesterday. Gabriel drove already his first little laps with it, and the car seems to be working pretty fine. That was quite honestly a bit more work than expected, but I hope it's going to pay out because if you look outside really closely, it is snowing quite heavily outside. And we're gonna take good advantage of that and actually take this EVO back where it belongs. Last time I drove this car was for Christmas of last year, so over 1 year ago. So I think it's time to take it out again because, quite frankly, this is probably my favorite car that I own, and I'm going to explain to you guys exactly why. But I think you'll see it later anyway. Also, I'm very happy that the car is wrapped again because this truly shows the beauty of the EVO even more, I think. And I think it's gonna look pretty cool in the snow as well. So I'm gonna take money and we're just gonna go enjoy the day with my lovely little EVO.
Take me.
Take me.
Take me.
Yeah, we're still having a few issues because pretty much my car is falling apart. When Gabriel did the first test drive yesterday, he lost this. So, så mit kvar när det verloren. But yeah, anyway, let's jump in the car. I hope it runs. The only thing that's annoying is just getting in and out of this car. But apart from that, I love it. And I'm happy to be back. First startup for me at least. 0,0.
Hast du Schließfach gesteckt?
Ja. Hab das rennen lassen. So, dann komm, starte Kabel.
Dann legen wir mal starten.
Ideal. Okay, so Mani has the PC with him at least, in case something goes wrong. Gibson, okay, wir sehen uns. I'm so excited. Evo time. Geilstes Einsteigauto.
Alter.
Da bin ich lange nicht mehr Evo gefahren.
Ja, das ist so lang her.
Yeah, back in the Evo finally. One thing you notice instantly about this car compared to all the others is just how insanely loud this car is from the inside, because we idiots took out all the noise dampening materials to make this car even more rally spec than it actually was. If you're not a huge into Evos, this is an EVO V RS, which is probably one of the rarest Evos you can currently get, because mine is original left-hand drive, which is actually insane. I never really noticed how rare this car actually is until Petrol Positive here in Austria told me. There's supposedly around 30 units in Europe left of this exact car. So only 30 of these have been produced for the European market as an original left-hand drive EVO V RS, which is
insane,
crazy. The original interior that came with this car, it looked like a Golf 4 interior. Maybe I can show you some pictures of the seats and everything. I wanted to throw these away because they were so ugly, but it turns out that the interior alone is worth around 10,000 euros. Yeah, this is how rare this car actually is. And I never really realized it. I bought it for a very good price, and the prices since then have skyrocketed. Like I always said, one of my favorite cars I own, because it drives and handles like nothing I've ever driven in my entire life before. And you will see later when we take it out in the snow, this car is insane. I will explain to you how I actually mean that. For now, I'm just happy to be back here again. I'm planning to do a few changes to this car to make it a bit more friendly to drive. Another cool little fun fact, the EVO V RS has only been produced for rally teams. So back in the late 90s, if you had a rally team, that was the only way you can get one of those from factory. That's also why there's only so few examples, because obviously demand was not too high. So most of them have been converted to full-on rally cars, which means that there's probably even less around right now, because you know, rally cars tend to get beaten quite a lot. Our mission today is pretty simple. Look for some snow and see if this car is driving properly, because like you saw, we did quite a significant rebuild, and just have a good time. And I'm gonna show you guys wie man nicht Auto fährt mit Kupplung. And I'm gonna show you guys how much fun this actually is. I hope you guys can feel it through the video, but yeah, you're gonna see it in a second, I think. We found the glorious snow. We have some spikes on the car as well. One thing about the Evo is that it's just so spritzig. Ich weiß nicht, wie man es auf Englisch sagt. Juicy.
Juicy,
This car is just juicy for some reason. The turbo comes pretty early, and you notice so much when the turbo comes. I love it. It's just so great. Everything is so loud inside here.
It's pretty slippery.
It's insane. I can't believe it. Whoop. Oh yeah, by the way, my handbrake is not really working, so if you're wondering why I don't use the handbrake. This just works so well with the Evo. The thing with the Evo is that everything is so direct and mechanical. The differential, the whole all-wheel drive system, that's also the reason why this handbrake is not working, because if you lock the rear wheels, all the wheels lock, because everything is just mechanically connected to each other.
Ja, aber sau wenig.
Just making sure that everything is alright really quick. Engine oil pressure, KPA. Ja, alles passt. Das war die Anzeige hin. Okay, oil pressure good, let's continue. Yeah, it's an old car after all, you have to be a bit careful sometimes. But at the same time, this car has endured me for like 5 years, so, you know, it's been through some shit already. I used to daily drive this car, by the way, when I bought it in 2019 in winter time, which is crazy to think. Bro, look at all the snow here. EVO. So nice to have it back, and so nice to be in the snow again with it. Because honestly, there's nothing better than an EVO for the snow. And look how good it looks with the red. By the way, the reason why I got this car at first was back in 2019 I wanted to have something for the winter time, but I didn't really know what, and a friend of mine sent me a picture of this EVO and said, hey, you know, you should get it. And the pictures were actually so horrible quality that I didn't really like the car at first because it looked like absolute shit. But then I saw it in real life and I fell absolutely in love with it, and ever since then, since 5 years, I've had this absolutely beautiful piece of machinery. And like I always said, one of my favorite cars ever. You saw it in the video now, the car handles like a bigger go-kart. The all-wheel drive system and everything is just so phenomenal. And I really like the sound this car makes. You're gonna see it later when we turn on the anti-lag and everything. Gives you pure rally feeling. Rally is for me the best form of motorsport there is. And having a car that gets so close to rallying is just, yeah, this is why I love it so much, honestly. I don't think there's any better all-wheel drive system than this right now. I have never really gotten stuck with the EVO, except for obviously when I was, you know, in a ditch or something. But on the normal roads, this is just pretty much the best you can get. Especially EVO 4, 5 and 6. They have this 100% pure mechanical all-wheel drive system, and they just don't build them like they used to anymore. You don't really get this in any other new car or anything else. Also looks-wise, I think this is probably the best EVO. I love the big fog lights in the front and the wing. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, let's get a few outside shots and then we'll continue on to the next passage. To the next rally stage, I should probably say. Mani's checking the ECU and everything right now. But so far everything seems to be fine, so Gabriel did a good job. Thought I'm gonna hit Mani for a second there. I'm driving in low boost right now, by the way, because I still don't trust this all too well. I'm wondering how bad normal winter tires would be in this scenario right now, because even the spikes have a hard time gripping up here. I'm not used to the EVO being this slippery with the spikes. Something a bit different for sure. Also the steering wheel is so small, and also like the steering radius, which makes it feel even more than a go-kart. You can't even do one full spin and then you're at full lock. Now it grips up. Third gear. to second. Bro, these slow motion drifts, that's what these are. Quick little pit stop. One negative thing about the Evo that I also noticed while I was daily driving it is that this car has the world's smallest fuel tank. You have to refill it so many times and it eats through fuel quite a lot, especially when driven hard. But yeah, so far so good. Mani's checking everything again in the PC. Und erste Fahrt, nix Fehlermeldung. Big fan. Which means we are ready for stage number 2 now. Let's go. Yeah, we're ready for the next stage. I'm filming POV now because Mani is basically checking if the engine doesn't blow up. So passt perfekt. Alright, let's see what we can do. I'm still in the lowest boost setting possible. Yeah, this road here is way better than the other one. Because it's steep. Yeah, it's not so steep. It's nicer. And also less snow.
Oh, Gottes Willen.
Und was sagt der PC?
Big fan. Engine temperature on 92 Grad.
Super. It's just so nice to steer the Evo. You can do it with the steering wheel, you can do it with the brakes, you can do it by giving it gas. Everything you do with the car moves accordingly. Hey, das passt, jetzt bin ich im Element.
Das ist geil, oder?
Just a little tap on the brakes and the rear comes loose.
It's so hard to describe. This car is the fastest thing in the winter,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
And it's so smooth.
there's nothing close to this
No,
car.
nothing. So mega, ohne Scheiß.
Bist du deppert, ist das geil, Alter.
Ich hab's so vermisst, ohne
Ja.
Scheiß. Ja, das ist mega. Das gehört in das Auto so.
Ja.
Da musst du so fahren. Irgendwie. Keine Ahnung. Das ist so schwarz und beschreibt.
RS 4-Style.
Ja. Das ist so irre. Most of the people will think, why are they not talking? But I'm enjoying it
Ja,
right now so much.
mir ist das so geil gerade.
Oh ja, gibt's so gewesen, ohne Scheiß. Oh jo.
Das Klatsch gegen Moga.
Oh, aber wir schnöden das noch.
Ja, wir,
So what is cooler, Yaris or this?
yeah, I have to say, this is way cooler than the Yaris.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the Yaris was fun, but nothing beats an Evo. Literally nothing. And honestly, I think that this is probably the best Evo to get. This and an Evo 6, because they are the lightest ones, they're the most nimble, they still have the most mechanical parts. I just absolutely love this car. That was a very successful, proper test drive.
Yeah. But on the small map.
Yeah. I have missed this car way too much. This is probably the best car I own right now. The only thing we have to do is we have to make this fun in the summertime, but we already have some good ideas for that, I think. Schau, die Folie geht unten ab. I really needed that drive. That was absolutely amazing. And the car looks so good now with the red and everything. To this date, probably the best investment I've ever made.
Das gibt's nicht.
This cold weather is not really good for the wrap. And probably also the snow and the fact that I crash into like every third snowbank. I don't know, not really crash. But yeah, also here the inner fenders. Yeah, a few small hits and scratches.
Race patina.
Yeah, race patina. It's a rally car after all. Yeah. But still, after the winter time, we're gonna have to probably refurbish it again a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's have a little bit more fun. It's getting dark now, which means we can test out the underleg as well, I think. Yeah, made it back safely to the garage. The car is still in one piece. We're missing a few parts of the wrap, unfortunately. So we're probably gonna have to re-wrap it again. Oh my god. But apart from that, the car held up great. It always cracks at this part. I don't know how many times I fixed this bumper, but it always cracks at this part. And yeah, Gabriel has to take out the inner linings of the fender. But apart from that, everything went to plan. Engine is still holding up great. It's making pretty much the same amount of horsepower as it did before. So project EVO restoration was a huge success. And I also think I showed you guys appropriately how well this car actually works and why I like it so much. If you guys are considering of getting an EVO, EVO 5 in my mind is the way to go. Doesn't even have to be an RS, but it helps obviously. Doesn't have to be left-hand drive, but it also helps obviously. Ich bin ein bisschen mit. Like, comment, subscribe. Where else do you get content like this of me absolutely driving the shit out of my EVO? Ich bin echt mit. Schlaft's gut. Have fun. See you guys.